Hello, I'm Jonasz Rewiński and you're watching Break the Fake. They make them, we break them, and tell you everything you need to know. While the rest of the world was toasting to peace, prosperity, and not being a global pariah, the Kremlin's New Year's Eve special unfolded like a dystopian talent show, hosted by the ghost of Stalin and choreographed by a drunken bear. Enter Shaman, Russia's favorite state-sponsored pop singer, crooning his patriotic anthems with the enthusiasm of a man whose paycheck depends on every syllable. Behind him, Solovyov raises a glass of what we can only assume is overpriced Crimean champagne, muttering war threats between the sips. In the corner, Skabieva sways awkwardly, like someone desperately trying to summon enthusiasm for her 78th hour of screaming into the camera about NATO biolabs and radioactive mosquitoes.
Дорогие друзья, с Новым годом! Как сказал наш президент, настоящая элита – это все, кто служит России, труженики и воины.
Победа будет за нами. Новым годом!
I wonder how many actually expired from cringe after watching this. I'm quite sure the figures are top secret. But here is the kicker. The bravado was off. Gone were the theatrical threats of turning Western cities into parking lots. Perhaps even the Kremlin's finest propagandists can't quite muster their usual fireworks, while Ukrainian partisans are out there casually blowing up critical railway infrastructure, like, for example, in the city of Tver. Yes, while the Kremlin chorus was clinking glasses and pretending everything was fine, somewhere in the snowy forests of Russia, saboteurs were turning train tracks into modern art installations. No ammo, no supplies, just a slow, grinding realization that maybe, just maybe, patriotism set to a synthesizer beat isn't enough to win wars. But hey, at least they've got Shaman's greatest hits on repeat. Happy New Year, comrades! Here is to another year of successful military operations and strategic withdrawals. The 1st of January 2025, a day etched in history, and not just because some European politicians woke up clutching their heads in migraine-induced panic, frantically whispering, "Does anyone still have Putin's number?" Spoiler alert, even if you had, he wasn't picking up the phone. Apparently, even tsars need their beauty sleep after a New Year's celebrations featuring Shaman's greatest hits and lukewarm Crimean champagne. Meanwhile, Ukraine has officially turned off the Russian gas tap. Yes, the very same tap that kept half of Europe warm and half of European politicians nervously biting their nails every winter. And somewhere in Berlin, we hear faint sobbing. Could it be Olaf Scholz practicing his next "we need dialogue with Russia" speech? But let's be honest, this isn't just a Ukrainian independence story. It is a continental wake-up call. A crisis for those who built their political careers on pipeline diplomacy, cozy backroom deals, and the sweet, sweet smell of Gazprom contracts. The era of Moscow turning the heating on and off like a cruel landlord is well and truly over. Sure, some European leaders might still fantasize about sneaking a quick gas deal under the geopolitical radar, but Ukraine just reminded everyone that independence isn't about cozying up to dictators in exchange for discounted cubic meters. It's about cutting the pipe, even if it means wearing 2 sweaters this winter. So, unironically, here is to Ukraine turning off the gas and turning up the independence. And to those politicians clutching their phones hoping for a callback from the Kremlin, maybe try sending a New Year's card next time. Hungary, the Kremlin's favorite fan club in Europe, led by Viktor Orban, the self-proclaimed champion of independent politics, which seems oddly dependent on Moscow's mood swings, by the way. While most European leaders cautiously squint at Putin from across heavily fortified borders, Orban prefers a cozier approach, kneeling before the Kremlin's throne, clutching a bouquet of discounted gas contracts and whispering, "We still cool, boss?" But let's give credit where it's due. Orban has truly mastered the art of informational gymnastics. In Hungary, the Kremlin's propaganda doesn't even need Google Translate. It flows seamlessly through state-controlled media, straight into the living rooms of Hungarian voters. Apparently, NATO is the real aggressor. Ukraine is at fault for being invaded. And Russia? Well, Russia is just an innocent bear defending itself against mean Westerners, poking it constantly with sharp sticks. Incredible, isn't it? A modern European country where 80% of the media market looks like a direct franchise of RT, otherwise known as Russia Today, with paprika seasoning. Orban's government has essentially turned Hungary into a PR outpost for the Kremlin. All the disinformation, none of the Cyrillic alphabet. But let's not get too harsh. After all, maintaining this level of loyalty to Moscow while still enjoying EU funding requires Olympic-level mental gymnastics. So, bravo, Viktor, you have turned Hungary into a geopolitical karaoke bar, where every song is a remix of Blame NATO, Save Putin. And to Hungarian voters still believing the Kremlin-sponsored bedtime stories, sweet dreams, comrades, just don't forget to pay your gas bill in rubles. Now, for the grand Russo-Korean Friendship Alliance, where misunderstandings are measured in bullets, and friendly fire is just another Tuesday. Russian soldiers, once hailed as the mighty warriors of Putin's empire, are now reportedly on their knees begging their supreme leader to reconsider the international cooperation experiment. And why is that so? Well, because the North Korean brothers in arms seems to have trouble distinguishing between a Ukrainian soldier and a Russian one. Spoiler, everyone looks suspicious when you don't understand the language. It turns out that yelling "don't shoot" in Russian loses its effectiveness when your allies don't understand a word in the Russian language. Somewhere in a bunker, Putin is probably watching maps of the front line with red dots multiplying and muttering. They were supposed to shoot them, not us.
Уважаемый Владимир Владимирович, мы бойцы 810-й бригады просим не привлекать к нашей работе иностранных партнеров. Из-за проблем с коммуникацией во время выполнения боевых задач они уже не раз атаковали наши же подразделения. Надеемся, вы разберетесь в этом вопросе.
But hey, let's not judge. Cross-cultural friendships are tough. And besides, who needs NATO when you have the precision, discipline and strategic genius of Pyongyang's finest troops, who occasionally mistake Russian tanks for enemy hardware and Russian generals for target practice? In the end, the Kremlin might realize that outsourcing your war effort to a country that communicates in charades and heavily accented military jargon isn't exactly the masterstroke they imagined, but hey, at least it is a distraction from the collapsing ruble and the exploding drones over Moscow. And with this, we conclude this episode of Break the Fake. Please stay with us here on TVP World for more latest news and updates.